In this video, I'm going to show you how you can test the claim about a difference between two means using our statistical analysis tool, SALT. So we have someone who's growing tomatoes in two separate fields. When the tomatoes are ready to be picked, he is curious as to whether the size of the tomato plants differ between the two fields. So he takes a sample of each and he collects some data. And this is the same one from the Khan Academy video, but I'm going to show you how to use SALT to do it. So field A, here's our mean standard deviation number of plants. Field B, we've got the same information. We're going to test the claim at a 0.05 significance level. So let me get my tool out so I can write. So we've got to first figure out what our hypotheses are going to be. So we're going to look at that null and that alternative hypothesis. And we want to see whether or not there's a difference between field A and field B. So I'm going to call this, I want to know if they're the same. I'm going to call it the mean of field A versus the mean of field B. And then the alternative would be if they are not equal to each other. And remember, we talked about how we could write these differently by moving everything to one side. So we could say that's equivalent to this, where this would be equal to 0. And we would say this is equivalent to this. So there's A minus B and not equal to 0. So we are going to go to, and I had to get rid of that drawing, SALT. Inferential statistics, we are going to look at a two sample. Let me see if I can move everything over here so we can see everything together. Our first one, the mean was 1.3, the standard deviation is 0.5, number of plants was 22, and then we had a 1.6 here, and a 0.3, and a 24. We're doing a hypothesis test for this one. It is a two sample because I'm comparing to see if there's a difference. And under our hypotheses, remember when we set up our hypotheses a minute ago, the alternative was that the difference was not equal to 0. So we were choosing not equal to 0 for that difference, and we're going to generate a result. So our p-value is 0.02. Our alpha is 0.05. We were testing that claim at the 0.05 significance level. Since p is less than alpha, we would reject H naught in this case. So that's how we would use our statistical tool to conduct a hypothesis test for a two sample proportion.